My God, that was the quickest and silliest hate raid I've ever gotten.
You got a hate raid?
Oh, I sent you pictures. There's like
Okay.
roughly 500 deleted messages in my YouTube now.
Christ is king.
It's Crisis King and You're Gay and insert slur here, and it's the most uncreative shit. Guys, the rule has always been the same. You're allowed to insult me in my chat. You
just
do need
gotta
to be
creative about it. Yeah.
You cannot just say stupid shit. You need to do something original.
You have less.
I'll keep
you
you
have
in
less
if you're
than a year
original.
left. What does that mean? Is that a
I
death
don't
threat,
know.
Suris? Is that a
That
death
sounds
threat, Suris?
That sounds like another death threat. God,
Oh
I'm
my
so
god.
God. I collect those like Pokemon cards, you people. Dear God. Also, I'm just gonna say this right now as well, just as a quick one. If you're gonna say it, just do it. You are all inconvenient and ammo is inexpensive.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But also, like, just spamming the message "Christ is King" over and over and over again. All that really accomplishes is instructing the algorithm that people are really engaging with your content. So maybe we should promote it more.
It helps a ton. So thank every single one of you. And I'm glad that my moderators were able to give you more attention than your parents ever did.
Rosina Keller says, "I wish people would stop telling me what I believe." Yeah. All right. So we can just kind of plow through this one, but the religious nuns in America, who they are and what they believe. This is a fairly recent survey results that came from Pew Research, came out January 24th. And my partner heard me say Pew Research, so she's over there going, pew, pew, pew. Yeah, so it's kind of a dry article, but about 28% of U.S. adults are religiously unaffiliated, describing themselves as either atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular when asked about their religion. That's down from, I think it's 31% in 2022. So it is down a little, but that doesn't mean that the trend overall is turning. That just means that this year it's down. So survey data shows that most nuns believe in God or another higher power, but very few go to religious services regularly. So that would be the nothing in particular nuns.
Okay.
Most of us say that religion does some harm, but many also think it does some good. They're not uniformly anti-religious. Most of the anti-religious ones come from the atheists. Surprise, surprise. Most nuns reject the idea that science can explain everything, but they express more positive views of science than religiously affiliated Americans do. Now, I'd be tempted to say that no, science can't explain everything, but not so much in a it's impossible for science to explain everything, but
or that
rather
currently can't.
like, well, no, not even currently can't. Like, even if you extend it out, like if humanity existed until the heat death of the universe, there's just so much to learn that we will never learn it all.
Okay. So that's a fair one as well. And just it is within the capabilities of science to gain all knowledge that is possible in the universe. However, as a matter of scope and scale,
Jethro Elfman says, so someone, who was it? It was Rosina Keller. Nope. Donald Jeremio. I'm sorry. I've mispronounced that every time you've sent me anything. But thank you for sending me stuff. Said that 2 of my grandkids are alive because of abortifacients, whatever. That word that I can't say, apparently. Jethro Elfman basically said, me too. And now we're having a big old hug party in my chat. My chat is so much more wholesome than yours.
I mean,
everybody's just loving each other.
Mine has a bunch of people who just didn't get enough attention growing up, and their only way they can get it is by harassing people online. I'm not talking about my audience. I'm talking about the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
I hope. I hope there's nobody in my audience that makes that their
so if there
modus operandi.
If there is an issue in your audience that is caused by people not getting enough attention as kids, it's drawing porn of people that they have parasocial relationships with.
Dark Excalibur says, "Give me your PO box," then hit the exclamation mark PO box button. Like that's a thing on Twitch.
My PO box is in my description, I think. Maybe it's number 343, but that's all I remember.
I frequently forget my PO box number, so when I go to the post office, I have to go to my Twitch chat, hit / PO box to remind myself, so I can go in and unlock it.
And Fennec is in my chat saying, I mean, Stoff is just Stoff. Which,
look,
that tracks.
We keep on receiving Apologia art now, thanks to Pernia.
Oh, have we gotten more that I haven't seen?
I believe you've seen all of the ones that have been submitted so far.
They were good. I like them. Yeah, so the nuns have lower rates of civic engagement and are lower rates of civic engagement are concentrated among nuns whose religion is nothing in particular. Atheists and agnostics, however, tend to participate in civic life at rates matching or exceeding religiously affiliated people. So, yeah, that's one of the things that you'll see when you see the news coverage of this. A lot of the, especially the right-leaning outlets, will tell you that, like, oh yeah, the nuns were on the rise, but now they're falling because, 1 year of a decline means a trend in their minds. And then they follow that up with, and also they don't vote. It's like, it's the nothing in particular nuns that are not voting. The atheists and agnostics are like
highly opinionated and therefore.
Well, yeah. So, let's see. Okay, we'll get to it. Hopefully I remember to come back to this. Someone just redeemed a hydrate.
Just think the more opinionated somebody is, the more likely they are to go actually vote.
Yeah.
I would assume.
But yeah, atheists and agnostics on average have more education than religiously affiliated Americans. By contrast, people who describe their religion as nothing in particular tend to have lower levels of education than religiously affiliated adults. I actually find this one, like, that tracks for me, but I also find it kind of funny because in my personal relationship, like, I am the atheist and she is the nothing in particular. She's got like 3 or 4 degrees and I got none. So, like, we are the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be.
You are not trendy, is what you're telling me.
Well, actually, so I'm working on a Mike Winger response right now, and he's very condescending towards atheists, and he just rubs me the wrong way. And eventually, he starts talking about, like, oh, the lowest common denominator, like bottom rung atheists, and he's just harping on, like, and at one point he's just like, oh, and this guy thinks that he did this in a 5-minute YouTube video. And I'm just like, buddy, what do you think you're doing? Like, yeah, your videos are longer, but that doesn't make you not a YouTuber. Like, you are just doing your own shit on YouTube. You're just a YouTuber. I looked him up. I looked him up to see what his qualifications were. Literally identical to mine. His only qualification is that he is an ordained minister. Same as me. Different denominations, of course. But
I will say this. I have only ever done one response video to Mike Winger to my knowledge, and I did one debate with him. That was enough to satiate my palate for the rest of my life.
I could see that.
I cannot stand the guy.
Fennec says, wait, you're an ordained minister? Yeah, it's just that one where, like, it's the one that you can just sign up and they immediately ordain you, but they are, like, legally allowed to perform weddings and funerals and shit. And it is technically a Christian denomination. It's basically taking advantage of the fact that there's zero oversight, and also, like, you don't really need any qualifications for your job to lie to people about the afterlife. So, yeah.
You will see your loved ones again soon,
so
probably.
I'm sure if he catches wind of where I got my ordination certificate from, he would point out that, like, oh no, I actually, like, went to school to learn about the theology of my particular denomination to get my thing. And it's like, okay, whatever. It still means nothing.
I just want to understand. I wanted to be a theologian because I grew up in Pensacola Christian Academy. I wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to do all of that stuff when I was a kid. But as an adult, I look back on it and I go, wait, hold on. Why would I want to make my job just knowing one book really well? And that is it. That is all it is. That sounds like the most boring position possible.
So here's the thing, though. Like, from my perspective, as an atheist, it's a fascinating book. Like you can get insights into this ancient culture and how they worked and how they related to the other cultures that were around them.
That's
how
not
they
the way they view it.
I know. I'm saying as an atheist, it's a really fucking interesting book. I could see like I can totally understand why like Bart Ehrman wants to study this for his life. Like even though he started with the same motivations as you, but like it's fascinating, and I can understand why it's fascinating. But especially the fundamentalist Christians, they take all of the interesting aspects out of the Bible because it has to say what they want it to say.
Yep. And that's the part that I find the most boring, is I don't... Like, I got past the point of caring what particular Bible verses a Christian would use to defend their faith or their opinion or their bigotry. I got past the point of caring about any of that because I can watch another Christian debate them using different verses from the Bible to tell them why they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is a constant that can happen at any point with that religion, and we know it can, then why should I even care anymore about those particular opinions from those people, as opposed to just telling them, you're wrong, please stop causing life to be bad for LGBTQ people.
Yeah. Rosina Keller says, doesn't Suris just want to dedicate his life to the MTG rulebook?
So at least that rulebook is only 298 pages.
And there's probably not as blatant contradictions in there?
If you get into the lore, there's plenty. Oh, there's a lot. But at least there's more lore about magic being written. Like, there's a conceivable point in time where I will die and that lore will continue happening. The only way that more lore happens about the Bible is new Christian denominations popping up to make new shit up.
Yeah. All right. Back to the article. 2/3 of nuns say they question a lot of religious teaching, or like when asked about why they are nuns, 2/3 of them say that they question a lot of religious teachings or don't believe in God. I feel like I don't believe in God is a really great reason to be a nun.
To not
like,
why are you a religious nun? Because I don't believe in God. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. Many also bring up criticisms of religious institutions or people, including 47% who say that one extremely or very important reason why they're not religious is that they dislike religious organizations. And 30% say bad experiences they've had with the religious people help explain why they're non-religious.
But Rhino, my church is different.
Yeah, it always is. Let's see. All right, here we go. Lower levels of civic engagement tend to be found especially among nuns who describe their religion as nothing in particular, not among atheists and agnostics. For example, atheists and agnostics turn out to vote in 2022 at rates rivaling those seen among religiously affiliated adults. Those who describe religion as nothing in particular were the only subset of nuns with lower vote turnout than religiously affiliated people. What was the thing that I was hoping that I'd remember to say?
Was it something involving Jassa or Fennec?
No, it was something about the article.
I have no idea.
I was looking for a specific thing that I had read earlier, and it was like, oh, I need to talk about this now, so I'm going to skip down to it. But wait a minute, I have a lot of highlighted things in between now and then, so I'll just remember it later. Wait a minute, I have ADHD. Nope.
And now it's been string cheesed away.
An ally church that teaches real sin of Sodom. I don't know what that's with reference to.
The fact that the real sin of Sodom would have been they were assholes to guests, I guess.
I don't know, but apparently that Donald, that was your 10th super chat on this channel. So congratulations. YouTube is telling me that that's your 10th one.
YouTube says I should congratulate you, so we do.
Yeah. So this was
and I kind of miss the hate raiders now. Where'd they all go?
My numbers were really good for a minute. So attendance at religious services, not religious affiliation alone, is the key differentiator between people who are most civically involved and those who are not. So this is where it kind of on the one hand, the atheists and agnostics are way more likely to be civically involved than the nothing in particular. But then of the religious people, it's the people who go to church all the time that are also going to be the ones that are civically engaged, as opposed to the ones who are religious but don't go to church.
Well, because their default is already going out and doing something. Like, studies show if you already touch grass in these areas, you might touch grass in other areas.
Yeah. But, yeah, so the point is that it's not whether a person identifies with the religion or not, but whether or not they actively take part in a religious community that best predicts their level of civic engagement. Okay, we can skip that. We're gonna run late tonight. Yeah, so 43% of nuns say religion does more harm than good in society. 14% say it 14% say it does more good than harm, and 41% say it equal amounts good and harm. Which I'd say, considering the goods that religion does for the most part are things that could be done equally as well, or if not better than, by secular charities, I'd say that that's even if they do equal amounts of good and harm, that would be a good argument for getting rid of these institutions.
Not every sandwich in a homeless shelter needs to have a sermon attached to it.
Right. So yeah, that's just nuns accept science more than religious people. And yeah, so I forget what I was going to talk about before, but that's everything that I remembered to cover about this article.
Well, that's good enough, right? It's like 80% coverage, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.